You might be familiar with the idea that art is a waste of time, that it's not a worthwhile career to pursue. Oftentimes, people absorb these destructive mindsets and let them dictate their lives. They choose to follow safer career paths than the ones they really want out of fear of not fitting into societal standards. I rejected my true passion for as long as I could until I realized nothing would ever make me as happy as making art. Part of the reasons why that mindset developed in the first place was because over time, schools started putting less emphasis on art classes to make more room for science and math-related courses. I found my opportunities for artistic expression decreasing as more classes were removed from the art department. As I dove deeper into this topic, I realized that it is a far bigger problem than I initially thought. It was heartbreaking to hear that some of the most low-budgeted schools gave their students no exposure to art whatsoever, leading to many apparent negative results.
In the decades past, the first thing to get cut when budgets are going are the arts, and I think a lot of people thought that families would get their own arts lessons and dance classes, and there's about 6 million kids in this country who are in public schools, charter schools, who don't have those opportunities, so they don't get any arts in school.
I am from a working class background, and it is people from my social class who need arts funding the most. It is also us who are the first to suffer when it gets cut. Art is already an elite genre. The more funding cuts, the more it becomes something only the elite have the means to pursue. And if only rich people have the access and the freedom to create art, then what we end up with is a bottleneck echo chamber of one particular outlook on the human experience.
We feel it a lot here in the States. The funding for arts education is always under stress. And the school boards are wondering, do we cut the art? Do we keep the science?
So what happens? We unfortunately grow up. It's a Peter Pan syndrome. As we get older, we become told that the arts are worthless to pursue, typically by adults, saying you're going to be an artist, you're not going to make any money. Why not focus on something more worthwhile?
This is what we do with 21st century creativity. We associate it with fame, celebrity, and followers. And if it's none of those things, then we associate it with failure. It is instantly devalued.
This is where this artistic passion tends to die. So we become more concerned with the right and wrong answers. Around 4th grade, about age 9 or 10, this is when this happens. Standardized testing, anyone?
Since 2008, more than 80% of schools nationwide have experienced cuts to their budgets. As stated in one of the articles that I found, when the No Child Left Behind Act was passed, it put more focus in schools on core subjects like math and reading. Because of the focus on these subjects, schools are forwarding more money to the areas that require standardized testing in order to keep the scores high. To keep those numbers high, arts classes that required schools to purchase supplies for students were cut first, leading to a huge drop in arts opportunities in schools. The idea of focusing on core subjects in order to succeed in college was later enforced by the Common Core Standards Act. It's important to recognize how these changes in the education system deprive students of the positive effects of art.
Arts frequently get cut from school curricula due to money and time, but a pilot program around the country is trying to use music, performance, and other arts in dozens of schools to motivate kids.
Somebody showed up for both of us. That's why we're here. Art completes not only the education, but it completes the human being, our ability to create and to express that creation. And we also have all the visuals now of channels in your brain opening up when you're doing a particular discipline.
In order to really succeed in whatever, math and the sciences and engineering like that, you have to be able to think outside of the box, and you have to be creative problem solving. And the way those disciplines are taught is not totally creative. The creative thinking...
Not at all.
Not at all. It's more like, this is this, this is this, this is this. The creative thinking is in the arts. A certain amount of arts education doesn't mean that your ambition is to grow up to be a painter, but you can use that kind of thinking and apply it to anything else, business, engineering, science.
And be better at it.
And you're better at that. You succeed more and you bring more to the world because you have these abilities that came from outside of your discipline. So bringing different worlds together has definite tangible benefits, and to kind of cut one or separate them is to injure them and cripple them.
Making music and using the arts to build math and other skills. That's the theory here at the Renew Cultural Arts Academy, a public charter school in New Orleans. Not long ago, one of the lowest performing schools in Louisiana, a state ranking near the bottom in the nation. It's a school now showing measurable signs of educational advancement. Half the schools improved their attendance rates. The average improvement in math proficiency was 22% and reading close to 13%. And discipline problems fell.
The medicinal powers of art are not exclusive to those who have what you may call divine talent or exceptional artistic training. The arts are a powerful force that we are part of in this human narrative. So this field of art therapy is a mental health field that uses the art-making process to help groups, individuals, and communities heal physically, mentally, and emotionally.
When I think of culture, what do I think of? I think you visit other countries and then they show you what it is that makes them them and not you. And in almost every case you do this, you are looking at their art. You are looking at their architecture. You are looking at aspects of their civilization that has been empowered by science and engineering. And so for anyone to say, let us cut art for anything else, suppose they did that back in Renaissance Europe. What would Europe be without the support and interest in a thriving culture of art? As we readily spend money to visit these cities and go to their museums, to turn around and say, now I'm going to cut the art budget here, that makes no sense to me.
Makes no sense to me either, considering how much we humans rely on art to help us process our emotions and the world around us.
The art we love is frequently something we're drawn to because it compensates us for what we lack. It counterbalances us. When we're moved by a work of art, it may be because it contains concentrated doses of qualities we need more of in our lives. The art a country or a person calls beautiful gives you vital clues as to what's missing in them. It's in the power of art to help us be more rounded, more balanced, and more sane. One thing art can do is reassure us of the normality of pain. Some of the world's greatest works of art have been loved for their capacity to make the pain that's inside all of us more publicly visible and available. The thing about art is that it is a sort of propaganda in the sense of a tool that motivates and energizes you for a cause. Only it's propaganda on behalf of some of the most important and nicest emotions and attitudes in the world, which it uses its skills to make newly appealing and accessible. It might be propaganda about the simple life, or about the need to broaden one's horizons, or about a more playful, tender approach to life. It's a force that stands up for the best sides of human nature and gives them a platform and an authority in a noisy, distracted world.
Art has a wide range of benefits. It reduces stress, encourages creative thinking, boosts self-esteem, and stimulates increased brain connectivity and plasticity. It is important not only in education, but life, because through discovering unique connections, it opens the mind to new ways of reimagining a better world for us all.